Right then, it's a quick walk around video for an absolutely lovely little CRZ. This is the GT model, so top of the range car. Finished in black, full leather interior as is standard on the GTs. This car's covered just 54,000 miles. Got lovely service history all the way through. It's been kept beautifully, it really has. Front of the car, lights and lenses clear, intact, no cracks or condensation in them. Bonnet very clean indeed. You know, any stone chips are going to be minuscule. Near side of the car, just such an interesting looking car. I mean, it really is. We have always maintained these got kind of future classic status written all over them, in all honesty. Alloys look really good on the car, I have to say. It's been kept quite beautifully. It's just such an interesting car in so many ways. One of these videos is showing any marks and there's hardly anything. Offside of the car, driver's side, again, lovely and smooth in the panels. There's no car parking things that are kind of jumping out at me at all. There's a couple of very light stone chips on the where the seatbelts catch on the doors. I'm nitpicking, you know. That's kind of preserved of sort of 3-year-old cars, not 13-year-old cars, whatever this thing is. 12, do my maths, there we are. But it is beautiful. Coming to the back of the car now, really good size boot. Officially, these are a 4-seater car, and I'm going to tell you now, forget it, because unless you've got the skinniest legs, and I qualify for that nearly, it isn't. You just basically drop the seats down and end up with a cavernous 2-seater car. That's what I would say. It's coming in inside the car now. Gorgeous interior, leather work. Again, for a car of its age, it's been kept wonderfully well. Coming on the driver's side, again, door card all very nice and a tiny amount of wear. Footwell area is really clean. Original Honda mats in the car, and driver's seat is far better than most that you see in the CRZs. So we're inside the car now, engine's running as is always the case, so the dash can be seen illuminated, to which to all intents and purposes looks like new. It is in stunning condition and it is glorious in here. Let's come up here, show the dash binnacle. What a fantastic design that is. It's so interesting, it's so easy to use. That's the one thing I'd say about the dash, which I go into more detail in the road test video, but it is absolutely amazing. Just flicked it into sport mode, so you can see the red surrounding on the rev counter there. If I pan in, 54,067 miles, and of course there are no warning lights on the dashboard at all. Finally, just to show you, owner's manual pack and lock and wheel nut key, all here and present with the car. Right then, this is a quick road test video, and one I've been looking forward to doing, I have to say. This is for a Honda CRZ, and it's a GT model. Car is registered KV11XCW, and with a mileage of just 54,067 recorded. The reason we do all of our videos, and especially this bit, the road test section, is to ensure that if anyone's online looking at any of our cars, they get to see the very car advertised actually in operation. And the reason we feel it's important is because, like lots of people who've been to see cars which have looked perfectly good in photographs or description given, but only to get them find out it's got an obvious fault that shows up when you drive the car. We also do it on these very quiet country roads in this absolutely beautiful part of Gloucestershire, and this forms part of the road test route we take our customers on, and the theory being, of course, that it'll be representative of what you'd feel yourself should you be offered a test drive in the car. So coming to the car, been very well serviced, this vehicle. I think it's something like 11 services from memory. We've just serviced the car and it's just about to go off for an MOT, but it feels tight as a drum on the road. Twist the key, press the button, start it up, starts instantly, settles to completely smooth, even idle. There are no warning lights on the dashboard at all relating to the engine or any other part of the car, but it's a brilliant system. For those that don't know, I'm sure you already do because I'm probably preaching to the converted. These are what is commonly referred to now as self-charging hybrid. So basically, in essence, you're going to buy, drive, run the car as you would any normal petrol car. So all you're going to do is get low on fuel, go to the petrol station, stand at the pump for about 2 minutes, and be on your way again for the next 300 or 400 miles. It's that simple. The battery in the car's charged up when you hit the brake pedal rather, back off the throttle, so it does it all for you. It's the whole thing's completely seamless. But what it does, it gives you a little bit of extra boost, extra economy, very smooth. The whole thing's, the engine that goes with it, the 1.5 litre Honda engine, is your classic Honda engine. It's brilliant. I love Honda 4-cylinder engines, always have, because they've got an energy, an enthusiasm. So when you put your foot down, you're greeted with a lovely induction noise, and as you rev out, it's smooth. It wants to rev. It doesn't go tight and asthmatic like so many other cars. You can, by the way, also run the engine in 3 modes. You've got on the side here Econ, Normal and Sport. In Econ and Normal, you get this dash display in front, and then if you press Sport, it goes red, and it's a more sporty look to the dash. But it is also noticeably quicker. The throttle response is livened up dramatically. And I've owned plenty of these, as I said in many videos on CRZs. The first one I had, bizarrely enough, it might sound strange for garages trying to sell you one, I didn't really get on with, and it was nothing to do with the car. I loved the car, I loved the way it drove, but I was basically trying to match what Honda said you could get in terms of economy, which I did, but I drove it, tickled the throttle, was in economy mode, and I just didn't get any enjoyment out of the car. I was just chasing high MPGs. The second one I had, I was less precious about. A few years later, chucked into sport mode and transformed the car for me. Suddenly it was exactly what I wanted. It was eager, it was keen, and the small amount I lost in economy was more than made up for in enjoyment. Just a brilliant setup, really is. Coming onto the steering chassis, steering tracks dead straight. There's no vibrations at this speed or any speed up to the legal limit. And again, harking back to videos I made in the past, the thing that always strikes me about the CRZs is they remind me so much of what I think are kind of the halcyon days of hot hatches, which was really the 80s and 90s, because hot hatches then were light, small, and because they had such low unsprung weight, when you flicked them into corners, they were keen, they were eager to change direction. I've just had a lovely car, the Civic Type R Turbo, which is huge now, and it feels like a big car, and it's very capable, but it doesn't have the spirit that these things have. They are so enjoyable to drive, and it starts with the steering, which is absolutely beautifully weighted. It feels hefty on the road. It's obviously light for manoeuvres, but it's your friend. It basically never feels nervous, never feels vague in any way. It's like a scalpel. You flick it into a corner and it goes exactly where you've aimed for. And the chassis obviously has to be a huge part of that, because what's surprising is, especially in this section of road here, is just how supple the suspension is, because it's very comfortable. So for day-to-day driving, if you're not in the mood, it's really lovely. But when you are in the mood, it's got the ability to sort of flick through corners of all types, off camber, bumpy, constant radius, long flowing ones. It loves it. It's a car that does achieve two things very well indeed. And by the way, there's no rattles or clonks coming from underneath the car at all, so all in fine order. And the brakes are really, really good on the car. The nice, solid, powerful brake pedal. No pulsing, no vibrations coming back through the brake pedal, so all in fine order there. And then we come inside. It just carries on with the CRZs. The first things you notice when you get in, you're in something very different, but not just for different sake. It's stylish, it's beautifully put together, as Hondas always are, but it's so refreshing to look out on a dash that doesn't conform to the usual manner of doing things. The colour scheme with the kind of the silver leather and the lower trims matching here, and the black up top, could be from any kind of 90s BMW in all honesty, but they copied from the best in terms of the look in lots of ways, but did a better job of finishing it in my opinion. But what's lovely is you've got this wonderful driving position, these very comfortable seats, brilliant visibility actually. It's only the rear three quarters with the thicker pillars which, you know, sort of mark it down in any way. But everything is just so simple. You've got a radio that's simplicity itself, and you've got a little stowage area above there. Then you've got these little pods either side of the steering wheel, which, if you go back to the S2000, had a similar but slightly different setup. But basically, so your hand there, that's how, I mean, I can virtually reach it with my fingertips. That's how easy it is to do these things. They're visible, so you're not distracted from the road ahead, and all work beautifully. Lovely to dial your temperature there, change your fan speed, blows out ice cold air, by the way, and all your buttons for changing the direction of flow, all with a high quality feel. And then on the right hand side you've got wing mirror adjustments and the engine settings there. And finally in front, as I mentioned in the walk around video, this beautiful illuminated dash binnacle in front. You've got kind of like a hologram effect for the speedo, so it's almost like it's floating in the middle, so it's crystal clear, but the detailing, the colouring is almost arcade-like, but in a really good way. It's you know, at night when it's all illuminated, it's a joyful place to sit, and that's really the car. It is one of the very, very few cars you get in, drive, and feel completely bowled over by it. It's just a happy, friendly place to be. Completely forgot to talk about the gearbox, which is remiss of me because it is one of the best gearboxes you're going to ever use. I normally do it in order. Coming back to the gearbox and the clutch perfect on the car, light, smooth, positive, bike point exactly where it's meant to be, and then you feed into one of the best gearboxes you're ever going to use. Starts with the gear knob, weirdly enough, the shaping of it, hand just wraps around it. When you do change gear, short in throw, it's got a meaty, lovely quality to it. It's so precise, and again, coming back to the character of the car, it's something that you want to use. You want to have to change gear because it is such a pleasant feeling doing it, and the interaction between the clutch, the gearbox, the throttle pedal is all typically Honda sort of smooth and beautifully engineered. You know, as I said at the start of the video, it's brief and only in reality to sort of show the car in operation. I do blither on a bit, I know that, but I can't fault it. It drives absolutely beautifully.